Looking back on your career, can you share a moment or project that significantly influenced your approach to audio engineering?
Hmm.
Yeah, these
Um.
are kind of yeah.
I, I mean, almost every one of them influences how my career moves forward. But just because you learn stuff with every new artist.
Hmm.
I always say I learn from the artists I work with, especially mixing. But things like working with Michael Jackson and having him asking nephew and I to mic up a door so he can knock on it and layer that with a kick drum. It's like
So it's
you learn so
insane.
much from session to session. But I think the biggest thing that stands out was probably 2004. I did mixing for and recording for Mario, our
Mm.
R&B singer,
Mm-hmm.
and I had very good mix. The A&R really liked it. All the vocals were layered nicely and sounded
Yeah.
sounded great, but it didn't have a big deep low end to the record, and I just
Mm.
hadn't learned the magic of that yet. And it was I ended up losing the mix that year.
Wow.
I mean back then, and it went to Manny Marroquin, he's been on top for decades.
Mm-hmm.
So I humbled myself and I went. They said it was going to go to Manny, and I took the file to Manny myself. I was like, okay, I lost this mix, but hey, Mr. Manny, do you mind listening to my mix and telling me what you think is wrong with it? And the only thing he told me was like, yeah, it lacks low end depth, but everything else is great. And that he probably didn't even remember that moment, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for me, that sent me down the rabbit hole to learn
Low end.
sub frequencies, low end. And so for the next few years, I bought two subwoofers. I carried them with
You
me to
turn
the
into a bass
studios.
head.
I turned into a bass head, and
Yeah.
there's plenty of records out there in like the oh 05, oh 06, oh 07 that just have so much kick drum and so much bass. I just went down head
Yeah,
first, like
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna learn that so I
Yeah.
don't lose another mix in the future.
That is insane though. The low end part of it is insane because I feel like whenever I've like in the audio engineering like journey as far as like when I was doing it and like kind of just working with artists and stuff like and speaking with people in the industry like there are a few things that people always talk about when it comes to like production and at least for me that have stuck out for me it's always the drums and the low end.
Yeah,
Those are like the two whether it be like for the drums like patterns and like how you sequence and produce it
yeah.
and then low end on like how did you do that.
Well, and you gotta remember we're talking about 2000, 3 to 6.
Yeah.
The plugins and the processing power we have now,
Oh,
we didn't have back then.
nuts.
So we had straight up EQs on the SSL.
Yeah, yeah.
Our
Like hardware.
plug-in EQs were like minimal, like just a few companies, Waves, McDSP, and the stock Digidesign. It wasn't even Avid Pro Tools; it was Digidesign Pro Tools back then.
Jeez, that's way back. Yeah.
So we had to craft that low end with pure EQ skills and the source material, whatever, however good the bass or the kick was
Mm.
that the producer gave us. We didn't have all the tricks we have nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot more difficult. But, that one loss sent me down that rabbit hole of just discovering how to master low end. And then it kind of became one of the things I was known for over the years,
Yeah.
you know. So, um, even though that was a loss, it turned into be one of the greatest things,
Yeah.
you know?
That was a big, big moment for you. Like it shifted the way you're basically
Exactly.
gonna start working on records, like
Yeah.
for the years to come.